wave your hand, wave your hand, wave your hand from the Caribbean. Wave your hand, wave your hand, wave your hand from your number one. From ready for the competition. You not take intimidation. Woman or man, we have no hand.
This is how we play the game. This is how we play. And we gon' represent and show them.
Yeah, and the fans were waving at Providence Stadium last night, where the Guyana Amazon Warriors defeated the Barbados Royals by 47 runs to close the gap atop the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League standings to just 2 points. Here is Gerard Morrisili with our customer recap.
Amazon Warriors welcomed Barbados Royals to the Providence Stadium on Wednesday. Both teams had already booked their tickets to the playoffs, but the stakes remain high, with the hunt for a top 2 spot in full swing. With one eye on the do factor, the Royals inserted the defending champions, who started like a house on fire, taking 60 runs from the first 6 overs. The intent shown by the hosts, who lost 2 wickets in the power play, was converted to sustained hitting when the left-hand, right-hand combination of Shea Hope and Sharon Hetmeyer came together to smash 106 runs from 55 balls for the 3rd wicket. Player of the match, Shea Hope, was his usually balanced self at the crease, carting 5 fours and an equal number of 6s for his 37 ball 71, as the Warriors posted 219 for 8 from their 20 overs. Having 220 runs to defend, the Warriors opted to subject their visitors to an inspection of spin, which they failed miserably, with Captain Imran Tahir leading the pack of slower bowlers who whipped through the Royals' top and middle order.
Tahir is off, imploring the umpire to lift the finger, and he obliged. Ball in, off the pad, and there he goes. Tahir, unstoppable at home.
Leaving too much damage for David Miller's unbeaten 34 ball 71 to repair, as the Warriors restricted the Royals to 172 for 9 from 20 overs to claim a 47-run win, while condemning Barbados franchise to their 3rd consecutive loss.
Winning does build confidence in the group, but still yet we lose a few games, confidence is not done. We know next week is when the real cricket starts.
But I think we bowled really, really well as a bowling group, which I'm really proud of the boys. It's not easy sometimes, but Moti, Muin, even Junior Sinclair, he bowled really well whenever he had an opportunity, even the previous game. So really nice to have those guys in your group, and as a captain you feel really free.
The win moved the Warriors to outright 2nd place on the standings with 12 points, trailing leaders St. Lucia Kings by 2, while the Royals are 3rd on 10 points.
Next week is when the real cricket starts. I really do hope, for Rovman's sake, that comment ages well. All right, Nikhil Uttam-Chandani joins us via Zoom to assess the implications of the result. Nikhil, welcome back. It's great to have you as usual. I won't ask you about Rovman's comments, at least not yet, but I want you to first of all put into context for us the significance of last night's victory for the Guyana Amazon Warriors.
Yeah, Ricardo, I think it underlines the unstoppable nature of this side. And I say unstoppable because I think in these conditions where in Guyana, on one given day, you can get a surface that spins a lot. Then on another day, you can get a decent batting surface that we had last night that still takes some spin and favors guys who can take pace off the ball. I just think the different angles that they can attack you with. You saw last night bowling 13 overs of spin. It was a statement win again for this Warriors team, who have welcomed back a Ramanullah Gurbaz as to the different ways they can win. And to see a Shea Hope and a Shimron Hetmeyer batting like that, it almost brought back flashes of last year when we saw Shea Hope have that amazing season, and then Shimron Hetmeyer, who continues to show that he's batting with a different hunger in 2024. So look, they're going to be a really hard team to beat when you think about the adaptability, but also the home fans, 15,000 people at Providence who continue to push them and be that 12th man.
Yeah, and with 12 points on the board now and 2 preliminary round of matches to come, I would suggest that they are odds and favourites to be among the top 2.
Definitely. I think once they beat, one of the Kings or TKR, they'll feel quite comfortable. It does get interesting if they lose their next 2 games, but I find it really hard to see that happening with the strength of their side and also that home advantage, which I think they continue to show is a big advantage when you get to Guyana.
Yeah, and here I was thinking that real cricket was going on, but here is Rovman Powell letting us understand that the real cricket starts next week. Your take?
Well, yeah, same reaction as you, Ricardo. I picked up after the presentation last night, and I actually repeated what he said because I find it really funny. But again, I think mind games, and obviously he wants to send a statement to his side that there's nothing to be worried about, when there probably is a bit to be worried about. And I don't think you can say the real cricket starts next week, because every single team and every player in that Barbados Royals side, if you give them a top 2 finish, they'll take it. And nobody wants to have to play in an eliminator situation where you have to win to stay alive. So I can understand why he said it, to try to instill that confidence and bravado within his side. But definitely there's a lot of real cricket to be played within these next 3 games.
Nikhil, I wanted to join in on the discussion that Ricardo and I started in regards to momentum, right? Because now Barbados, they've lost a couple of games back to back. What are your thoughts on them slipping out of contention now that they haven't really had a grasp on winning ways, even though their captain is saying, the real cricket starts next week?
I think from a confidence perspective, you want to win, going into those playoffs. But what I will say is I don't believe in the fact that if you've lost 3 or 4 games on the bounce, that you can't go on to win an eliminator. Because I think what we've seen in past years, I think back to the Talos in 2022, who barely snuck into a 4th position in those playoffs, had been up and down the entire season. The Royals themselves back in 2019, I think it came down to 1 over of them not even making the playoffs. And then you turn up in the eliminator, a guy like Quinton de Kock gets 100, or Miller really goes big, and all of a sudden everything looks different. So the great thing about T20 cricket is it plays on the day and not so much about what's happened before or after. So I don't think, even if they lose in Trinidad and finish 4th and play an eliminator, I don't think that means that they're not going to be able to get through it and potentially get to a final.
Yeah, because the Amazon Warriors in previous years would have won most of their matches in the preliminaries, but didn't come up trumps in the final. So as far as momentum is concerned, it didn't quite work out for them on that occasion.
Yeah, and that's fair. Again, as Rovman said, you want to win, to establish that confidence. But I mean, the Warriors can look back at last season when they lost the qualifier to TKR and lost pretty convincingly as well. I mean, their heads could have dropped and they could have had a drop in confidence, but then went on to win that challenger and then went on to win the final. So I like what Rovman says there about learning from losses. I think you do learn. I want to see how they adapt and change things in that TKR game and then in the playoffs. But again, I don't think it's the only way. If you lose, I don't think it necessarily means you can't turn up in the eliminator or the playoffs and win. I don't think they're necessarily related because of the match winners that they have and also the way that T20 cricket has shown us to be in the last, forever, really.
Yeah, Nikhil, I'm interested in your take on the balance of this Barbados Royals team. Last night we saw the captain, Rovman Powell, having to bowl that first over going for 25 runs. If the Guyana Amazon Warriors were not in control before that, then certainly after it they took command of the game. What's missing for the balance of this Royals team to be correct?
I think, Ricardo, having a consistent number 3 or 4 batting-wise, and it underlines the importance of Alec Athanaze in that batting lineup. When I compare and contrast the Guyana innings where Hetmeyer and Hope went at 12.5 runs per over in the middle, I think what the Royals are missing is someone who can rotate strike against the spin other than Quinton de Kock, because when he's been there, they've been fine. When he's been dismissed, they've struggled to rotate strike in the middle and have lost a high volume of wickets to the spin. So I'm thinking about maybe a promotion for Jason Holt at number 4. I just think Miller is very capable. Rovman is capable of batting 4. But we saw last night how well Miller batted when you have sort of pressure on at the back end and, he can sort of finish the innings. I want to see someone be able to give them a platform for those big power hitters to be able to come in. That's probably the only thing I think they're missing. And maybe bowling-wise, a 6 bowler. And that's why probably Raheem Cornwall and a Naeem Young will come in. You heard Rovman say last night he knows what his best 11 is, and they can't play the 5 overseas as well. So teams will be looking at that, though. Teams will be looking at getting the caught early and over-reliance on him, and then the fact that they've really only used 5 bowlers throughout the season.
Yeah, Nikhil, certainly want you to stay for this one. Always love your analysis when the play of the day is being revealed. And yeah, let's reveal for you the Angostura play of the day.
Out of this world. top of the toes.
Any batter would be proud of this shot.
Sledgehammer-like in the execution. Just moving into it with that expectation of the length.
High and handsome. Nikhil, Donald, do you guys like it?
I really like it. And I think the ball was kind of was on the up, and he still managed to get on there to hit it into the onside. I actually saw it live just before I actually left here, and it was just magnificent to behold. He's really in some good form, Shea-Hope.
Ricardo, which producer picked that today? Which one was it?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Okay, fair enough. But I want to say, whoever picked that, I think has a deep cricketing insight and mind. I'll tell you why. I hope it was the male producer that he's been able to reprieve himself today.
It wasn't, Nikhil.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, I think
it was the female producer.
The female producer is on the ball this season. I'll tell you why, Ricardo, for a number of reasons. Shea-Hope was dismissed by Jason Holder earlier this season to almost an identical delivery. Short, was caught in the leg side. What he did there, and that's been a weakness for him, where guys have gone short and at the body, and the power to hit that for six over long on. As Donald said, it's a sign of a guy who's really at his best, and it's great to see him get his first 50 this season. Hats off to the female producer again, who is yet to miss in CPL 2024.
I think we're just going to fire the male producer. That should get the job done. Nikhil Uttam-Chandani, as usual, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, and we'll chat again soon. No CPL matches tonight, of course, but yeah, we have action tomorrow. Take care, Nikhil.
See you guys.
All right, yeah, so as I just pointed out, no match tonight, so you can get to bed a little bit earlier than usual. The Royals, they are traveling to Trinidad and Tobago, and that's because they'll be facing the Knight Riders at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy on Friday. That's tomorrow. And yeah, it is yet another massive clash, and one that will help to decide the playoff seedings. And of course, it will be live on SportsMax from 7 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time, 6 p.m. in Jamaica.
So get up and unite for your team. We'll give the best we've got. Hands up, right up, and play hard. We'll take it to God. It's how we play.
Every pitch, every part, every deal, every wicket, every soul. And the heart and soul and passion, and the culture, Caribbean blood. When people come out all nation, to the team in a unification. When the stadium run bleach at the grandstand, and the meaning of beautification.
It's how we play.